Hello, everybody. I'm sitting a little awkwardly at the moment because if you were following along in before stream, you'll know that there's a cat sitting right behind me on this chair. She was attempting to get on my lap as I was preparing for stream, and oh, hang on, let me see if the closed captions. There, let's toggle that. Okay, hopefully that's working now. Oh no, she got a nice warm spot. Basically, I stood up and she's like, mine. So I have this part of the chair and she has that part of the chair. It seems fair. So no poor cat there, Lord Zachvora. I think she's doing just fine. Yeah, we are very well trained by these cats, I would say. We have rearranged the furniture in order to accommodate them. Let's put it that way, or accommodate what we think they will like. So yeah, they're well taken care of. So welcome to a flip-flop version of Heart of a Hobbit here on the official LOTRO stream, LOTRO team stream on Twitch, as it is. I'm your host, Little Redhead, and I'll be taking you around the world of Middle-earth today. We'll see what kind of mischief we can get into. We'll probably do some missions and things. So just looking at the calendar, I have a plugin here called LOTRO Pad that I like to use. Speaking of plugins, as before was just finishing up there, I do use a lot of plugins, so I really enjoy them quite a lot. So I am looking at, today is like September or something or other, right? 27. So Bilbo's birthday just ended, like probably this morning, or probably about when the patch happened. They did a patch early today. That's another reason why we ended up all catterwampus today, because normally, those of you who might be new to LOTRO, they do a weekly restart of the servers, and they do patches and any little fixes at that time, or big stuff too, is usually when that is loaded into the worlds. And they did a patch last week, which did some significant changes to minstrels, like really changed up the whole thing. For example, if you look at your trait tree panel, you'll notice as a character that you have 3 trait trees that you can choose from, and you'll specialize in one. So for example, you've got the blue line, which for a hunter is called the huntsman. You've got the red line, which for the hunter is called the bowmaster. And you've got the yellow line here, which is called trapper of foes for a hunter. It's they have different names for the different classes. So you have 2 tabs over here on the sides. You've got a first configuration and a second configuration. So you have some flexibility there. For example, I have traited into red line here on my first tab. But if I switch over to my second tab, it's going to say, you know, trait, do you want to change your trait configurations? Any unsaved trait data will be lost. So if I haven't like saved the points that I had spent, things like that. It's going to change all of my bars and everything that where I've placed things. All of this is going to switch to what I have saved on the other one. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes, because I do want to switch over. So you can see how it just went and everything changed. So this is all blue line stuff, and I have not really been playing it recently. It's been probably 30 levels since I've played blue line. So on this server, on this character. So my trait tree is all, like all my buttons and stuff are in the wrong. Like I don't have it sorted the way it needs to be sorted yet. But also notice that there's a timer going, so I can switch back, but you can't do it like boom, boom. So it took like, what was it, like 60 seconds or something like that. So now, so anyway, so just to show you that there's these 3 options here. So you can do 1, you can do a second, you can do a third. You can buy more of these trait configuration windows with mithril coins. It'll cost you, as you might be able to see there, 100 mithril coins. So you might really want it. I'm going to say no. So I'm going to go back to my red line because that's what I prefer. So there we are. But the point is that the minstrels over last week's patch, which was on Wednesday as a normal day, they redid their whole trait tree, sort of. So what they did with minstrels, now I'm a hunter, so this isn't going to show accurately here, but they basically took everything in the yellow line, and you don't trait into that as a solid line anymore. That's not like your main thing. You can trait into blue or red, and then you add in stuff from yellow, and it affects the things that you have on your main line. So, and I think, and I don't, you might have to, can you just pick anywhere on the tree, or do you have to go in order?
You still have to pay enough in the first row to get
Okay.
the second row.
But now they only cost one?
1, 2, or 3, depending on how good it is.
Oh, how exciting. Okay. So, okay, so some stuff I was just asking about here. So normally what happens is when you have your trait tree, so in this case red, everything in this one will cost you 1 point to move it up to the next one. So if I want to go from 1 out of 6 to 2 out of 6, I would need a trait point. I would plop it in there, boom, 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 a class trait point. So your main line, they cost 1 to go to increment it to the next level or next ability, or, you know, and it moves it down. Like, so when you got past here, it opens up this stuff and so on. Okay, so what happens when you go outside your line? Because you can still borrow things from blue and yellow, in my case, but it cost me 2. So when I added tripwire, because I really wanted it, it costs me 2 of my points, which, you know, is kind of expensive, but it's worth it. Over here, I would like strong draw. I like the damage that it's given me for things that consume focus, because I consume focus on a lot of my skills. So I was like, yes, let's get extra damage going on. So I have spent 5 points in there, which, because it's outside my main line, each of them costs 2. So that was 10 points I've spent over there. So that's, you know, not to sneeze at. Now with the way the minstrels are doing it, and I don't know if it's like this with Bjorning, no, not Bjorning, brawlers as well. I have not actually looked at the brawler line. Is it either costs 1 or 2 or 3, depending on how strong it is and how much it's going to affect the stuff you have, that it's applying to. So, so basically, Minstrel's yellow line became a buff area, and it's not a line on its own. So really fascinating idea, right? Lord Sackboy, I've got like kind of a going on there. So that's what changed for minstrels. And so it was a huge change, and that came through on Wednesday. And so minstrels are still, you know, playing around with it, trying to figure out what happens, how to, you know, what's the best way to trait things, blah, blah, blah. They do, SSG, Lord of the Rings folks, they do a lot of like kind of behind the scenes looking at data. And one of the things they had looked at was that yellow line in minstrels was not being utilized very much. So they're like, okay, what can we do to make this, you know, useful stuff? You know, things that the players will find that they want to engage with it. And so just making it like an auxiliary line is what they've decided to do. And apparently it's worked out really well with brawlers, so hopefully that'll work out really well for minstrels as well. But it's kind of funny because then somebody like, you know, before, who has created the Minstrel Buffs plugin, has to basically recreate the whole thing. Oh no, Sauron's left eyebrow in chat says, I played a yellow mini. Until Wednesday, yes. Well, hopefully all the things that you really liked in the yellow line, you'll find in blue or red, and be able to, like, you know, re-skill that up in the way that you were liking it. Yeah, yellow card. So yeah, so that's the exciting things. Oh, anyway, so in that big mini patch, I mean, there's other things. Okay, so B4 says, yeah, I played around with spending all my trait points in yellow, and it was interesting. So yeah, so there's a lot of people who are kind of respecing, and, you know, because everybody who plays a minstrel, it basically just refunded you all your points. You had to start all over. It didn't even leave things and have you fix, you know, it just like start over. So yeah, I was mucking about with my minstrel a little bit the other day, but I didn't get very far. Anyway, so when they made those changes, it was minstrel changes and a handful of other things. Like, basically, they put out release notes saying, here's what's happening. And the release notes information about minstrels was about this long, or maybe this long. And then there was like a whole nother section of everything else they were doing. So it was a significant amount of things, even though some of them might have been small changes. One of the outcomes of that, oh, there goes the cat. Thank you. There she goes. You'll find that much more comfortable over there, honey. Okay, now I can scoot up a little bit too. Do you want to get scooted up too? Or are you happy there? You can come onto my lap in a minute. I will be fine with that. She's been really interested in my lap today. Like every time she comes over, she climbs up in my lap. It's been kind of crazy. She's not usually that attentive to me. Yeah, but I think they're going to play for a few minutes. Both of them are awake now, so it's possible they're going to play. I'm just putting something over my lap so that way when she comes over here, she has a tendency to make biscuits, and I prefer to have like a little bit more padding between her claws and my skin. So there we go. Some of my preventative measures happening over here. Okay, so when they made all those changes, unfortunately, something happened where well, not any, but a lot of consumables were no longer working. So like you couldn't use Hope tokens. Now you could just do food. I think food was still working, but the things that you, like the silly, things that you drop and everybody coughs around you, those weren't working. There was actually a handful of other things that weren't working that were used in combats and raids and things like that. Oh, thank you. Hope tokens, removal salves, festival consumables, that's what I was trying to say. Mitigation tomes. Yeah, so there was a whole bunch of stuff that just kind of stopped working. So that was not ideal, of course. Oh, and if you had gotten the newest before the Shadow expansion, there's some cosmetics and there was a mount that came with that. And the mount does this really cool thing when it's running. Like there's like leaves that come up off the ground from it. So cool. Unfortunately, that animation kind of disappeared. So they fixed a bunch of that today. So they went ahead and did the update, their weekly update today instead of waiting to do it tomorrow. Probably because they had it all sorted and they wanted to get that out to the players. So, which is great. Yeah, Lord Zach Boris says, trust me, if something doesn't work after a patch, QA adds it to their test cases. Yeah, like one of those where you're like, how did this happen? How do we not do that again? So let's see. So B4 has posted the link to the update notes on update 33.2.1. So is that the one from today? Or is that the one from last week? Last week?
33.2.1 is
today. Okay, that's the one from today. So if you want to see what they fixed, that's there. And that includes, as before has quoted, the leafy visual effects on the Rivendell Destrier travel mounts has been returned. So that's really cool because one of our kinnies that we run around with on Saturdays got that and was jumping all around with it. The other wouldn't at first, and it was so cool. So we were all very disappointed when it disappeared. So glad that that's back. Morgo Twitch says, oh my, it's been a while since I played. For things removed like Hope Token and all that, is there any sort of comp or just move? They didn't go away. It would just be like, you would try to try to use your Hope Token and be like, you can't use that skill. So it would just sit there in your inventory, and you just could not engage with it, basically. You could move it around, but it just, you couldn't consume it. So it's all working today, so there's no need to fret. Everything is good now. It's just if you had, like, I don't know, some big special raid planned and you needed those mitigation tomes or something, it might have been a little sad. But aside from that, everything, the Hope tokens, it was so funny because, so we're playing on the Treebeard server, which is a legendary server, and it's a slow progression. So we get the expansions come out as they did in order when they first came out, but they give them to us every 6 months. So we're for example, the game came out in July or June 30th of last year. And then 6 months later, January 5th, we got access to Moria. And then 6 months later, at the end of June, we got Mirkwood and Enedwaith, which is where we are now. So sometimes people are like, they wish that that there was a server where you could play the game as if it was when the game first started. And people are like, hey, we didn't have Hope tokens when the game started, so there you go. So I thought that was kind of funny. So people got to have a taste of the original game for at least a little while, but you didn't have to buy travel rations or go around trying to finish specific deeds in order to get your virtues and things like that. Lord Zach Boris says, Destrier, or is it Destrier, is French because it's French for steed, but mostly refers to the medieval geared steed. Thank you for that history lesson. I always like when, where do things come from? We live in the Netherlands, but we're from the U.S. Grew up in the U.S. Both of us did, and so we now live in the Netherlands. Though we're planning to, stay here forever. And yeah, OMG travel rations, says Lord Sackbora. Yeah, and anyway, so we're learning Dutch, and we have a lot of. Both of us are very interested in deconstructing the language and the words and trying to parse. Maybe a little bit more detail behind the things, right? And so, yeah, we are often like, well, this word seems to have a similar root as this word, which reminds me of this word over in German, or this word in French, or this word in English, or this word in Latin. So there's definitely times we're like, okay, how did this word get from here to there and back again, and make it in these sorts of how does this work? I have to say, okay, so of course, English is my mother tongue, right? My first language. So I don't have to think too hard when I'm speaking. Like it just, it's all that practice. But, like having gone through English classes and learning about the different ways to conjugate things in English and the, past participle and past future participle, or, past peanut, piece of pie participle, all of those things. Yes, words here and back again by Little Red and before. You see, you can see why we enjoy Tolkien stuff as well. Where was I going? Oh, yeah. So I think that English is a more difficult language, and with many more exceptions language than Dutch is. I think Dutch, when it has a rule, it generally follows its rule. Like if you're looking at a word and it's just the word and it has EEN at the end, then you're like, hey, that's the ending of a verb in its infinitive form. That's probably a verb in its infinitive form. Yeah, so I appreciate what seems to be rules and rules that are followed in Dutch. So anyway. Totally distract me. You can easily distract me around here, especially today. Sleeping issues. Okay, so Bilbo's birthday ended today, so that is not happening right now. And then tomorrow, the Buried Treasure event starts. So we are like sandwiched right in between the two events. So we don't have an event to go and, party on. So we're going to probably do some missions or instances or both here on mine. Hello, Skybrews UK. Welcome. We've just been talking about language and history of words and stuff like that. And okay, so then let's just finishing off the calendar. So yeah, Buried Treasure event starts tomorrow. So if you are missing those steeds, this is the time to go check it out. There are 3 steeds that you can earn through the Buried Treasure event. One is the treasure-laden goat. It looks like that guy right there, and he's got little coins falling off of the luggage on his back. There's the treasure-laden pony, very similar thing. It'd be a horse if you're a higher or taller character. It's a pony for us shorter folks. And again, it has the coins in the back that kind of fall off, but you can't pick them up. I've tried. They just kind of disappear. I guess it's like leprechaun gold or something. And then the other one is the cave claw masked pony or horse, but it's the steed. So, and so it basically has like the cave claw. It's like, it's ready for Halloween. The steeds all dressed up. So those are the 3 steeds that you can earn if you get a huge treasure cache, the big one that you're looking for. If you get that, there is a chance of one of those 3 being a drop in that. Now, those used to be bound to character when they first came out, and that was really a bummer because if you found the same one twice, you're just like, this is really sad, I have to throw away a tome. But now they're bound to account, so at least you can pass them on to other characters on your account on that server. So yay for that. Hey, Moobot, thank you. SSG has published 15th anniversary soundtrack with music composed by Bill Champagne, a few tracks featuring soloist Tara Catallo. Check out the 3-disc set available for free. Oh yeah, that's right. It was part of the 15th anniversary stuff. I forgot about that. So that is super nice. Okay, so Buried Treasure is happening starting tomorrow. And then next weekend after that is Hobnanigans. And then middle of October, we get into Harvest Math. So that'll be our next big festival. So yay. Okay, so I think 20 minutes later of chit-chatting, I think we're about ready to do something. Should I come pick you up?
Sure.
I didn't know if you had traveled to Trestle Bridge.
I do, but do you want to do further adventures of Elodin and Elber here?
I don't think I do. I think I'd rather do Trestle Bridge.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. You just want to pop yourself over here then? Because I don't need to talk to Wenda. I can do the boxes later. All right, I'm going to go ahead and open my Silver Hobbit gift. A minor potion of morale. Thanks. For a second, I thought that was one of the cats or something. I think it was a neighbor child. Isn't that funny how cats and children have a very similar sound? Like, it's really unexpected. All right. Hey, Yaffadoo.
50 more tokens for this wild trader's steed.
Okay, so we've got the mission wrapper picked up, which apparently we did missions the other day and forgot to pick up the wrapper, so oops on that one.
We did some last night, and so there's a quick run on the weekly.
Oh, okay, cool. So we have the other one probably going, don't we? The 45. Should we start at the top? Looming Collapse?
No, Swalfang's stand is fast and standalone.
Oh, so wait, which are we doing?
Swalfang's stand.
Swalfang stand in the middle. Okay. So, okay, so hang on, let me accept the quest. And then let me get in there. So the way these work, I probably should explain that before we came in. Let me grab the summoning horn. I hope that I am well enough for the harvest event. Well, I should hope so too. Yes. Oh, hey, hang on. I gotta summon my person. So, Radhril here is a human-y type person, and she accompanies you on these missions. So we'll proceed with caution. We do not yet know why Swalfang wanders through the Wildwood. So these are missions in the Wildwood. Here, I'm going to follow you. And we are going to go up this hill here and go look for that giant. And that's that giant Swalfang that you encounter him out here normally for other things. You notice he's throwing big rocks at us, so that's a little, a bummer. In fact, I should probably make sure I don't end up in that again. That did quite a bit of damage to me. The giant looks quite angry. Catch this, he says. Well, we're going to throw things at him, too. So the missions, oh, and here's Rodville. She sometimes helps out. All right, and he's called his pets to him. So we have some wolfy type folks that have been engaged with us as well. Wow, there's another one coming in. Okay, let's keep working on that. Okay, so now you'll see that we have both, first of all, we have a mission reward over here. We definitely want to pick that up. And that's only in the 2-player, right? Because in the 1-player, it automatically bestows. We think, yeah, we think a person so you can only do missions on either solo or duo. You can't come in with like 3 or more. You have to just 1 or 2 people. So when it's a single, we think the mission reward is automatically assigned. When it's duo, there can be some randomness to it. Yeah, thank you. So for example, Affadil got 2 Breland wood marks, but it looks like I got maybe 4, because it says I got 2 and then it says I got 2 again. So I don't know. All right, so now I got to talk to my person, and she's very happy, and let us return and report our success to the free peoples. So we travel. And it always drops you off right here. And you can always see like the remnants of her as you come in. So it's really funny because you see like her shield. Oh, she doesn't have it while she's standing here. But she's got her shield. And so you see kind of like the pointy bits of the shield, and her swords. You see like the pointy bit of her sword. So it looks almost like you have these kind of like bat wings as you phase in. So, oh, Skybird, you feel like death warmed up at the moment. No, that isn't. And that isn't just white. Well, I do hope you get better soon. That does not sound like fun. Yeah, I do not enjoy feeling yucky myself. I've been having, well, I've been having different things. You may notice, well, you probably won't notice, but I'm not going to raise this arm. I've got some shoulder stuff going on, and so I cannot do these sorts of things with that arm right now. So that has led to some interesting stuff, like getting dressed is always entertaining and stuff like that. But at least it's still functional. I can still use my fingers and hand and everything, so I can move my mouse around as long as I don't do this. I'm good. Oh, might take a while. You tested positive this afternoon. Oh. Well, I hope you get lots of rest and yeah, and that it passes, at least the symptoms pass quickly, I hope, for you, with no long-lasting effects, one hopes to. Oh, we have to turn in the mission back to her. Sorry. Let me do that. She says, very well done. With him defeated, the giant, perhaps the giant now understands that the Wildwood is no place for ruthless giants. So she's going to give us some legendary item experience. So this is really nice for the legendary track. And then she's going to give us some Bree Land wood marks, which we then can use to trade with the barter nearby. So the legendary item reward track, before has a question in the chat about add-ins that track all quests. Thought about starting a tune, try and start running content in some order in each region, and all I have done is tried to create a spreadsheet using the wiki. Now you could use the deed tracker as a way to kind of keep you on track, but it doesn't show you every single quest in that area, it's true. But it does take you to a lot of those quests, just as a point. Looks like we have started Invaders on the Delph. So let me go get in on that in a second here. Hang on, but before I jump in there. So legendary item reward track. So legendary items used to, there's an old legendary items system where the item itself, the weapon you had, would gain experience. That is no longer the case. You reforge it as you gain experience. So its experience isn't separate anymore necessarily. But there's still lots of ways in which to earn legendary experience, legendary item experience. And so what happens with that now? Well, they created this reward track. And so as you earn that experience, it applies to this track. So for example, oh, this was one of the changes they made. You can just click on the little dot and it zooms you there. So like 40, it zoomed me up here 50. Oh, that is so nice. You used to have to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. That was really annoying. How cool is that? Oh, and 47 was lit up because that's as far as I am. Oh, that's nice too. I like that. At some point, I think they're going to add, like, so you can tell how much experience you have and how much you need to get to the next level or something like that. But at any rate, so as you go along, there's different rewards. Most of these rewards apply to your legendary items. So like enhancement runes to enhance the sockets, ancient script, which is the currency to buy things to go into those sockets, traceries, which are the things that go into those sockets, all of those things. But now they've added, usually like on level 25, 50, 75, 100, with sometimes some others in between like 40 and 90, I think, like a cosmetic or a housing item or a mount or a pet. So for example, I would like to get to the end, if possible, because it's the legendary coffer of the painted steed, which is okay. I actually like, so this is the white one. Let's see, painted. So the skeleton painted pony. This is the one where they've painted like white bones on it, so it looks like it's just bones from a distance, which is a clever idea. I like the green one the best, though. It's just kind of like that funny glow. The red one is a little creepy for me. So anyway. Okay, so that's where legendary item reward experience goes now. Okay, so basically we are here in the Wildwood, which is North Downs. So North Downs, but also kind of like adjacent to Breland. So yeah, so up in this area, like Trestle Bridge, down to, is this, no, where's the port? Oh, here's Trader's Wharf. So this whole area here is the Wildwood, and that was added in, oh, maybe 2 years ago now. Seems like it's been a while. And it's like a level 45-ish area. They have this missions person that you can talk to, Radville, and she's basically like, hey, there's stuff happening here in the Wildwood. Let's go take care of it. And so that's what she's on about. So because we're in a duo, it tells me a encounter that our collective has already started. So that's invaders on the Delph. Why can't I pick it? There it is. You're not going in order. It's messing me up.
Doing thematic order.
Okay, so we're doing these in thematic order, apparently. The Free Peoples of Wildwood have reported that the mines of Rithensett have been taken over by a group of half-orcs. They seem to have the entrances to the mines completely guarded. So we need to remove these orcs from the area. Okay, so now the other thing that happens with these missions, and these apply to all the missions in the game in LOTRO. So the Elrohir and Eladan ones, the Bilbo ones, these, etc. So there is some sort of a twist that'll happen. So in this case, it's traps. Some monsters in this mission will attempt to lay down traps that will give you a debuff if you get caught in the trap. So now you kind of know what to keep an eye out for. Okay, so when you get there, you often have a summoning horn laying around on the floor. So you pick it up, and then you use it. If you do the Woe of the Willow, you'll get this also, but you call out Marigold. Okay, so you'll see I've got an ally of myself. Affodil probably had one of her own, and it said ally of Affodil. And if I go and talk to her, so the funny thing is you try to stand next to her and she runs off. It's really weird. Anyway, it tells you what's going on and what you're going to need to do. So it says these half-orcs do not just guard the entrances to the mine. This is a mining operation as well. First, we should find and defeat the overseers of this mining operation. I'm sure there'll be one stationed at each delph. We should also destroy what tools they have brought to excavate the mine. I am ready when you are. So we can take her along with us and help out. See how the shield that she has kind of like got some pointy bits on the ends, and then she's got her sword there. So when you phase in, that's kind of hanging about around you. So you'll see that when we phase back in next time. Okay, so we're gonna go get started. And so we're at these mines, which are out here. And there's one side there and the other side over here. So we need to do both sides, if I recall correctly. Okay, so let's see, we've got some more chat. Let me catch up. Let's see, so Mago Twitch had asked about tracking all quests using a plugin. And V4 says that sort of thing does not exist at this time. You can use the LOTRO compendium to keep track of quests. So, well, to know that they exist. Yeah, that's true. You'd have to like convert that into a spreadsheet, I guess, and, you know, check off each one. So here we are, we're destroying these mine carts. And then also we have these half-orcs that are walking through here. Although that one doesn't have a thing. I guess we don't need them specifically, but they are kind of, they're gonna notice us, so we kind of need to fight our way through them. Yeah, we just need the overseers, really, in order to, you know, take out this operation. Kotzanator asks, how old is this game? As you may notice up above that way, there's little 15 diamonds, little diamonds with a 15 in the center. That is because the game is celebrating its 15th anniversary. So 15 years and counting now, heading into 16. So that's how old the game is. So pretty amazing. Yes, and B4 did answer. It was first released a little over 15 years ago, which is, yeah, incredible longevity for an MMO. It's fantastic. And they add, their current plan is basically every fall, they add some big new content of some sort. Big shot at from up above. Who is shooting me? Little stinker? Oh, there you are. Wait, no, Radale's got it. I'll have to go search him out. Oh, this guy's shooting at me too. Let's shoot him back. Oh, anyway, so yeah, so they're adding some new big combat, some big, content every fall. So this fall, it's going to be Before the Shadow is the name. It's they're calling it a mini expansion because we're not getting like a level upgrade. Like the level cap will stay at 140, but it's going to encompass a lot of stuff. So I guess it's a mini expansion, but man, it's got a lot going on. And anyway, so it's kind of cool because you can pre-order it right now. And there's some goodies you can get. So we'll probably be doing that here in the next few weeks. Okay, so let's see, what else? Mago says, cool. And says, yeah, the engine may be a little dated, but both LOTRO and DDO are still quite popular and great to play and still getting new content. Yeah, right. That's a good point. Standing Stone Games, SSG, we will often refer to them. Streamers will often mention them. So that's some little shortcut for you there. Learning the culture, as it were. So SSG has 2 games that they manage and do content for and all of that. And that is Lord of the Rings Online, or LOTRO, as we affectionately call it, and Dungeons and Dragons Online, or DDO. Using that has no effect. I see that. Oh. All right, so we have done one side of the outside of the mining area, and so you'll notice that we're halfway done. So I've got 1 out of 2 overseers, I've got 5 out of 10 mining supplies, 5 out of 10 mining carts. My rad hill is still lost. I'm gonna get rid of her. Oh yeah, that's true. I could do that. Okay, so I'm gonna do slash. You can't see it, but I'm gonna do pet /pet release because she's technically under the pet category. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, it's not one word, is it? It's 2 words. Pet space spazia release. Okay, so I have released my pet. So now I can call her again. Notice the horn is no longer grayed out. And there we go. Now she's back with me. Okay, so let's see. Before says, I personally feel the more abstract painted feel of LOTRO suits Middle-earth very nicely. Yes, I absolutely agree with that. I love the look of LOTRO. Skybird UK says, in the Discworld novels, Death uses a living horse called Binky. Oh, I should go back and read some of those. It's been a long...
They have some Discworld in Dutch.
They have Discworld in Dutch. All right.
At least some of them have been translated.
Some of them have been translated into Dutch. I guess that could be a good exercise. We have picked up The Hobbit, or De Hobbit, in Dutch, and also we have, what else do we have? The Ban van de Ring. In de Ring? In de Ban van de Ring. Yeah, he's gonna have to type that one out. So yeah, thank you. Under the influence of the ring. So here's some fun facts: is that many languages have a version of Lord of the Rings, right? It's been translated many, many times. Tolkien, as many of you may know, was very particular and did a lot of time and thinking and putting together of the lore of his world and, why a word would be one way and not a different way, or how that would connect. So it was very important to him, the language and the way things were done. So somehow, some of the earliest translations, Dutch being one of them, did not take his input, didn't take his mind into account, perhaps. And there was a lot of translating of names and places and things like that. And he was not a happy camper about this at all. To the point where I'm surprised they didn't actually redo it. Like, I'm quite shocked actually that he did not at a 10th anniversary or something create a new Dutch translation because he was unpleased with how things had been done. So Dutch is one of the few that didn't really have his blessing, I guess is a good way to put it. So it was kind of funny. He was not happy. So Skybird said in the Discworld novels, Death tried using a skeletal horse, but he had to keep stopping and wiring the bones back on. See, that's the thing. Like, there's so much very kind of, I don't know, off, British humor. It's just that very specific British humor in the Discworld books, and I wonder how it would translate into Dutch. You know what I mean? Would we lose some of that? we'd gain Dutch humor, perhaps. Okay, so now we get the mission reward, and yeah, somebody posted earlier, and I think I missed it, but that they have done these solo, and they never get the box. So yeah, the mission reward. So yeah, it must be auto bestowed when you do it. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to talk to her, and she's going to be like, "Woohoo! Let's go report our progress." So when we phase in, check out. There it is. See, you can see it's still the little edges of her stuff. It's so wild. And then the summoning horn was still there for a second too. So it's like there's a little bit of a bleed through of the phasing between the mission that we've just done and coming back to here. So it's kind of wild. And it's the same stuff. Legendary item experience and then Breland wood marks. So cool. All right, so it looks like you've started Locked Down. Okay, so the free peoples of the Wildwood have reported a group of brigands who have barricaded themselves in the mines. So we just cleared the outside of the mines. Thought I just heard something weird. Anyway, we just cleared the outside of the mines, but now there's something going on the inside. So we need to go and take care of what's going on there. So that's our next thing. So Locked Down. Okay, here we go. In the Bahn Wandering. Oh, let me grab my summoning horn. So German is Herr der Ring. Lord of the Ring. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, I didn't use my horn yet. Funny thing, I can actually use Affadil's Radhill. So, and she says, it looks as if the brigands have barred and locked themselves into the mines. This poses a more difficult task than I had envisioned. I'm sure there's a way to unlock these gates if one of these brigands must hold a key. While we're here, we should also retrieve some of the goods that they have stolen. So that is our plan here in the mines. Yes. B4 points out that Dutch translators seem very interested in localizing the text. So, for example, in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, another one that I might go back to at some point, Arthur lives in a small village in the Netherlands instead of a small village in England, right? Yeah. I had to think about it. And his friend is named Amro Bank, which is the name of a bank here. Instead of Ford Prefect, because you would not know a Ford. So Ford Prefect is the brand of a car in England in that time frame, which I just never really thought about that until recently. What it was?
Ford Taurus
Yeah,
in the US.
like a Ford Taurus or Nissan Sentra, Crown Victoria, whatever. Yeah, so it's just some generic car, common car of the time. But as an American audience, you wouldn't necessarily, that wouldn't stick out so much. So the Dutch answer on this is to localize it to, something that is very obviously something of society. So calling it, the name of a bank, be like calling it, Chase Bank or something like that would be really funny. And you wouldn't even think about it. It'd be like, wait a minute, Chase Bank? Did you just, it's like, what's his name? Who got his name off of the bottom of the bedpan. Yeah. Who's the guy that says wherever you are, wherever you go, there you are?
Buckaroo Banzai.
Buckaroo Banzai? I think it was. All right, now maybe I'm mixing metaphors. But anyway, moving on. Yes. So, we've got boxes. I'm gonna scoot back. Skybird says Pratchett also mentioned the short unit of time called the New York Second. That's fantastic. See, it's so funny. It's been long enough that since I've read any of it that I've forgotten a lot of the humor. A New York Second instead of a New York Minute. I love it. And it's the time between the lights in front of you turning green and the car behind you honking its horn. Very nice. That is excellent. See, yeah, so something like that wouldn't necessarily register as much because, people don't drive cars as much as they do here. Don't drive cars as much here as they do in, say, New York, where you have to, and then I actually have to say, you can get around New York without a car too, from my understanding. I haven't lived in New York, so I can't say for sure. But I hear they have transit. Yeah, exactly. All right, we have retrieved 6 out of the 10 boxes of goods.
There's 2 more.
And we have another barricade we need to unlock. Yes, that's what I really enjoyed Terry Pratchett's sense of humor. It's been a while. We have the Discworld game behind me somewhere, back on the shelves there, which was it was published, and there weren't a lot of copies. Like it wasn't a small run, but it wasn't like it hasn't gone through multiple print runs. And for some reason they didn't reprint it. I can't remember why. So it's not easy to get. So I'm really glad that I got it, when I did. And the funny thing is there were like 2 Discworld games that came out, board games, like within a year of each other. So it's really funny. You like have nothing for years and years and years, and then all of a sudden there's 2. It's like, that seems, kind of wild to do them at the same time. It wasn't, I don't think it was intentional. All right, so here's the ruffian captain. We need to defeat him. How did you find me? Well, you just walked right into us, man. I don't know what to tell you. We delved deeper and deeper. Ta-da! All right. Mission reward. Ta-da! Oh, we're standing in caltrops. There we go. Covered in bees. So, commend your efforts. Let us return and report our success. And zoom. You see, you could see her was there. She was there for a second. That's great. Took me a while to figure out what was going on, because I was like, why am I phasing in where somebody else is, but now they're not there anymore? I don't understand. But then it made sense after that. All right, with nowhere else to take refuge in the Wildwood, this group of big brigands will certainly disperse. The mines of Rhythenset will soon be safe enough for the Free Peoples, thanks to our efforts. Good job, us. Okay, the next one is brooding. Brooding in the depths. All right, will you accompany me on a mission? The Free People in the Wildwood have reported hearing the scuttling legs of spiders in and around the mines of Rhythenset. There could be a brood within the tunnels. If the mines of Rhythenset are to ever be again safe, we should investigate the possible spider menace. Okay, let's go take a look. Oh, and our twist here is shared corruption. So monsters in this mission will apply a corruption buff to nearby allies. Exciting. I think I'm hearing fireworks. Okay, so I've picked up that. I'm going to grab my ally, and what does she have to say? So she says, I see the spiders have certainly infested these tunnels in the deepest sections of the old mines. Let us continue and be on the lookout for any spider nests. We should be able to cull their numbers by destroying the nests, and we should also search for any of the brood mothers lurking about. The webs are thick. Watch your step. Okay, so we need to defeat 2 brood mothers and destroy 12 nests. Okay, and so we have Elric, 1976, asking, for someone who is going to start this game for the first time, what is your advice on not getting overwhelmed by how many levels there are? That is a fair question. And by the way, I am not LOTRO stream. I'm a little redhead, but I assume that your question is for me, since I'm the only talking head at this moment, because the cats have all wandered off and they probably wouldn't answer your question anyway. Technically, LOTRO stream, I think, is Cordovan, who is the community manager. And he streams on here on Fridays at noon Eastern time. Okay, so how to not get overwhelmed. And y'all, go ahead and jump in the chat. We have plenty of experienced players who hang out in the chat as well. So people are more than welcome to put in their opinions and thoughts on this too. Yes, thank you, Elric. So first of all, LOTRO really isn't okay. For some people, it is about like getting to the end game and just doing that stuff, whatever the highest level stuff happens to be at that time. But for the majority of it, really, it's the journey. It's about enjoying being in the space and enjoying walking through Middle Earth and interacting with the characters and doing the various quests that you can do and things like that. So yes, I would say as you are learning the game and getting familiar with the world and how to interact with things, how to, like, even just how to move your character, for example, you know, I know how to move my camera like this now. I certainly was not adept at that when I first started playing. I can push buttons and do like this kind of thing now. That's, again, not something that I was comfortable with or, you know, quickly capable of doing. I've been playing for about 3.5 years, more than that, a little more than that at this point, and I play a fair amount. And so the keystrokes and the mouse movements have become more rote for me. I don't have to think about it as much. But when you're still learning the game, those sorts of things can be really, can take you some time, right? Like there's an area not too far in the game, the Troll Shaws. You're like level 30 or so in that time. And there's lots and lots of trees. And so I like to, as a hobbit, kind of hover above so I can see everything around me, but then the trees get in the way. So, just learning how to adapt to the different spaces in the game has taken me some time. And I expect it probably is that way for most other new players as well. So I would say, don't worry about the levels. And actually, in a way, you'll almost level up too fast. Let me, if you don't mind pausing for a minute here let me go out to a map. So when you first start in the game, you're going to be in Eriador. And that is, as I saw, let's see, before pointed out, if you know the story of Lord of the Rings, so if you know, if you've read Lord of the Rings or seen the movies or I don't know, if you're familiar with the characters and the kind of the general storyline, you might know that some of these places that I'm looking at right now on the map are the more famous areas. So for example, we have the Shire here where the Hobbits come from, with Mickle Delving and Hobbiton and the Hill and the Party Tree and all of that. You've got, excuse me, over here, Ered Luin, which might not be a word that just rolls off your tongue, but that's where you're going to find a lot of dwarves up north with Thorin's Hall, and you'll find a lot of elves down in the south area of Kellendom. But you also have Breeland over here. We have like the Prancing Pony in Bree, so that's probably something you might have heard of. So those are the 4 current starting areas. So when you start as a character, once you kind of go through the initial instance, there's kind of like a little mini story that they take you through as in your first 5 levels or so. And then once you're done with that, you pop out into one of these 4 areas. And then your story progresses from there. As before pointed out early on, and I thought you probably would, is he says, I would focus on following the epic storyline for a while to get your bearings in LOTRO. And before I get to that real quick, so let me zoom out. So this is the entire world of LOTRO as it stands at this time. So Eriador that we were talking about over here, that's the first 50 levels of your character. So like the areas in here are going to be level, 5 through 20, and then 20. Well, they kind of break it down more into 10s or 5s. So you'll have like a 20 to 30 area, or a 20 to 25 area, or a 30 to 35 area, and so on. So that is all happening in Eriador. So that's where you're going to spend the majority of your time in your early levels. As they add on expansions, they usually add on a level cap increase. So that's kind of how you end up flowing through the game as well. So when you go into Moria, for example, in the Misty Mountains there, Moria is level 60 to 65. No, up to level 60, sorry, 50 to 60. When you come out of Moria, and then you're going out here into Lower Ravanian, that is level 60 to 65, sorry. So the game kind of takes you through the story of the Lord of the Rings and increases your level as you go along. So as before was pointing out there's something called the epic storyline. And that is something that, I think is a really good way to go. So let me go to my quest log. I'm going to look at my completed quests because I've already gone through the stuff that you're going to be going through. So you should, in your quest log, end up with something that says epic, and then hopefully you'll have volume 1. And you can do the prologue. There's prologues that you can do. Prologue's not required. None of this is required. But this is just a really good way to get to know the stories that are happening in the game and get to know the characters and get to know the land and everything. So for me, LOTRO is not like, it's not about, how many orcs did I kill today? It's about the storylines, and it's about interacting with the characters in the game. That's what it is for me. Let me just check really quick what all y'all have said. The beauty of LOTRO is the care and attention the developers have put into bringing the world of Middle-earth to life. That is very true. Oh, you're coming from WoW, says Elric. Nice. And you need a change. I think this will be a good change. There's a lot of people who have played WoW, and they come here, and they really enjoy the experience of playing in LOTRO. And yes, as B4 points out, you'll find a lot of MMO type things familiar, quests, deeds, achievements, all that sort of stuff. Oh, and you're a huge fan of Tolkien. Oh, you're going to love it here then. Getting to just run around in the Shire as a hobbit is such a treat. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm a hobbit in the Shire. Like there's times where you just kind of like sit down on the top of a hill and just look around and you're like, wow, this is just really cool. Like I find myself doing that from time to time. Let's see. Oh yeah, and so and Before's shared a link to a really cool map that kind of shows you where the different levels are throughout the world. Anyway, so back to this epic line. So the Lord of the Rings exists, right? You've got the named characters. You've got Frodo and the other four hobbits, and you've got the Fellowship and all that. We are not named in those books, so obviously we cannot be helping walk the Fellowship into wherever, any of that stuff. But what we can do is there's a lot of stuff going on in Middle-earth around them. Like, for example, there are signs before they left the Shire that things were kind of encroaching on the Shire. Like, they would see brigands, there was wolf sightings, there's, things like that. So the developers have been able to take those little breadcrumbs and be like, okay, so in the Shire, the Fellowship has just left, or the Hobbits have just left, and we're just going to continue that encroachment on the Shire that is happening. So you do go out and you deal with wolves, and you do go out and deal with brigands, and and various things that are encroaching and finding their way into the Shire, and a big part of that is because of Sauron's influence. Like there's something in the books at one point about how Sauron has pipeweed, and you're like, hold up, that detail just flies right by you if you're not thinking about it. But then if you want you to stop and look at it, you're like, wait a minute, how does Sauron way over there have pipeweed from the Shire? Like, how did that happen? Well, it's because he's been, or actually, I guess it's Saruman that has it, not Sauron. So you're like, how does Saruman have pipeweed over in like Isengard? Like, what the heck? Well, it's because he's already got people infiltrating the Shire and working and taking over, and doing things, right? So he's already spreading his evil influence over there. But you don't get a lot of that detail in the books, but there's breadcrumbs definitely for you to follow. So that's the sort of thing that they do. So we are traveling alongside the Fellowship, or traveling behind them, or scooting ahead to take care of some things. So we're aiding them in ways that aren't detailed out in the books, but make a lot of sense if you think about it. So we have, for example, like chapter 1, Unraveling the Thread. There's this whole thing about the Dourhands are a faction of dwarves that are have fallen under evil influence, and so they're causing trouble, and so you deal with some of that. So that's the advice I would give also, is follow the epic storyline. If there's any point where you're like, I'm not sure where I should go, check your epic storyline. Where are you? Head back to that and take a look at that. Later on, you can be crazy like us and do every single quest in the game, like some of us do, or every single deed in the game. But I would not recommend starting with that necessarily. I would definitely start with, check out the epic storyline, follow that, see how that feels. If you find you're getting too much experience, like you're level 30 and you're still in like a level 15 area, that will happen. That can happen. The LOTRO store is this little button down here at the bottom. It probably looks like one big coin on yours. I have a UI skin on mine to make mine look kind of fun. So anyway, but you go to the LOTRO store, you just click on that coin there and it pops up the LOTRO store here in the game. And there is a, oh, you know what? I probably can't get it. Once you've bought something in the store, like when it's a one-time thing, it's a gone. So it probably, I think it's called a disabler. Oh yeah, okay. Experience disabler, leveling up too fast, disable your XP. It's called an experience disabler, but we all call it the stone of the tortoise or the turtle stone because it is called the stone of the tortoise when you actually get it out of the store. Oh, you probably can't see that behind my thing. Let me pop that out. So that's what you're looking for. It's a clump, not a flop. Or flops. Anyway, it disables all of your experience. So that can be really useful if you're leveling too fast and you want to slow it down and try to be more on level with the areas that you're playing at. But yeah, in the LOTRO store, and it costs 100 LOTRO points. Those are that's a currency you can earn in the game. You can earn that from completing various deeds, things like that. Generally, it's through deeds. So I know it's probably like a whole lot of information. Yeah, I think it's really cool that's what they did is like I say, because Alex says, I really like the idea of helping the fellowship. That's really cool. And I think that's I think it's a really neat choice that they made when they were creating the game, was to take you alongside the fellowship and be, helping in the background. But you do interact with, Strider, Aragorn from time to time. You interact with the named characters from time to time, but not in ways in which you would, do anything that would have shown up in the books. So that's kind of a cool thing. And Egg Arthur says, if you do only the epics and nothing else, you probably won't level too fast. So it's so easy to get distracted and start doing other things. So I wanted to point out the experience disabler or the stone of the tortoise, just in case you find that you're like, so you have that option. The other thing so another thing I think is really cool is how they said, hey, this is a game based on a series of books. So we're going to give you what you do is you are playing through a book. Like, you are a character, and here's your book and each chapter that you play through. I'm like, that's like a really clever way to do that. Hey, kitty cat, what you doing? She's just sitting here looking at the pair of us. That's so funny. Is there a class that you would recommend for first-timers? Well, so you do have some familiarity with, like, MMO style play. Do you prefer melee, or do you prefer distance? I guess would be the first question, because people possibly have one, they prefer over the other. And there are a lot of people who have played WoW who also play LOTRO. So, you can always, if you're like, hey, I really like playing X style of character in WoW, a lot of times people will be like, okay, you will probably like blah here in LOTRO. So ranged, okay, everybody's going to shoot me, but I love Hunter. I think so. Everybody jokes that hunters are like really easy to play, but I love playing the hunter. There's just so many cool things I can do with a hunter. I could talk for hours here. So I would say go with a hunter. Minstrel is another ranged character, and that's what Affodil here is playing. So she gets to yell at things a lot. I get to go pew pew with things a lot. Yeah. Because yes, exactly. The Affodil, as a minstrel, can do a lot of healing. So, like, for example, we'll go ahead and go into combat. Let's go do some more combat. So you'll see that I can run up and I can like start shooting at things, but Affodil can just like bounce around and stun things. There's this like opening stun that she's got as a minstrel. So yeah, I really like Hunter. It fits my playstyle more. I am playing in Redline Hunter. When you are playing your character, you have a choice of different colors, blue, red, and yellow, and each one of them kind of has a different specialty. Blue is kind of like your all-around, mobile, pew-pew, on the run, kiting, kind of good stuff there. The red line in Hunter is definitely, you're heavier on DPS, you get a longer range, but you have no mobility. Like, most of your skills only go off if you stand still. And then yellow line is like laying traps and a lot more crowd control. Yellow line is a lot of fun to play, but I find that for what we tend to do, red line is ideal for me. I don't mind standing still while Affadil runs around and, and then sometimes we can kite things between us or whatever. So it works out for the pair of us playing together really nicely. Switching back and forth between red line and blue line is very normal for Hunter, I think, depending on what you're doing. Like there's times if we're running through like a low level area and we're just like taking out everything as we run, I will often switch into a blue line for that, just so I can have that ability and just like pew, 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 pew as we go. There was a nest back there, I got it. So let's see. Yes. So, yeah, hunters are, the classic range character, as before says, lots of pew pew. I like the pew pew. Let's see. Your main, Uptime Coyote, main is a hunter. Egg Arthur does point out that hunters don't have pets in, well, I mean, in real life, some of us do. But yes, not in the game. Hey, sweetie. That is Kato, by the way. She's, oops, I've lost my minstrel. There we go. Yes, so that is a good point. In a difference between, for example, a WoW and a LOTRO is that the hunters do not have pets. We run around on our own, well, in a fellowship or whatever, but yeah, we don't have little accessories that run around with us. Lore masters have pets. Captains have pets here in LOTRO, and those are a very different style of play than a hunter. I would say start with hunter or a minstrel, most likely. See how that works for you, and see what you see if you like it. See if that appeals to you. One of the things I really love about hunter, and I miss whenever I'm not playing a hunter, is you have a travel skill ability. Now, captains also, wait, who is it that, yeah, Captain Summon, but who has the other travel skills? The muster, warden. That's it. I would not recommend a warden as your first one. Oh, where's my red hill?
Yes, hunters have great travel.
Yeah, hunters have a great travel skills. Hang on a second, I've lost my person. I'm just going to steal yours. Sweet, thank you. What was I going to say? Oh, hunters have great travel skills. So, hang on just a minute. Let me talk to, where's the quartermaster? Here it is. Quartermasters often sell things. So, for example, there's a trio of skills sitting right here. Return to Trestle Bridge. Return to is a skill that you have for yourself that takes you to that location. Guide to Trestle Bridge, in this case, is a hunter skill. Guide to takes you and your fellowship to wherever it is that you're going. And yeah, thanks to everybody on the warden one. And then muster in is a warden skill, and it allows you to just get to that location, but you don't get to take your fellowship, you don't get to take anybody with you. So that's one of the things why I really like hunters, because I can not only get a travel skill, but I can then use that to help my fellowship get around. So I find that super helpful. Another thing I really love about the hunter travel skills is that they have basically no cooldown. So for the hunter skills, I should say, not your regular travel skills, but just the hunter ones. And I really love that. So for example, no, not wayfaring, travel skills. So these are all the various travel skills that I have. So like I can guide, well, actually I should just look at the guide too. There we go. This is, I'm a level 65 hunter, and these are all the different guides that I have picked up that I can take my fellowship and myself around. And these have 0 cooldown time. Your normal travel skills have an hour cooldown. Now you can buy some in the LOTRO store. You can buy cooldowns to get you down to 5 minutes. So that's another reason why I love the hunter ones, because they have no cooldown. I can go to Bree, every second if I want to. Travel debris, travel debris, travel debris, or guide to. So, so that's another reason why hunters are very popular, is because not only are they really nice for gameplay, but they also have the travel skills, and the travel skills are super nice. Okay, so a looming collapse. Let's take a look. So the free peoples in the Wildwood have reported a group of Tarkip orcs. So there's different factions of orcs in the game, just FYI. Who head to the mines of Rithenset with bombs and black powder in tow. It would seem these foes seek to collapse the mines. If the mines are ever to be safe again, we must remove these orcs. Okay, well, let's go do it. Also, I would say, Elric, that if you have any questions as you're playing, absolutely feel free to ask anybody here on stream, ask people in the world chat. People are generally very helpful in the LOTRO community. So, which server are you playing on, or have you chosen a server yet? I am curious. Okay, she says, Radhill says, it is of the utmost importance that we destroy every bomb and case of black powder that we find. We cannot let these orcs collapse the mine. Okay, there's a lot to be done. Let's do it. I'm going to eat some foods actually in the game real quick. The reason I ask which server you're playing on, because the different servers kind of have different flavors. So if you haven't chosen a server yet, I can try to help guide you in that direction. Well, all of us could. The collective we can do that. The collective I. The royal we. I did that one from camouflage. It's always fun. You get a bonus on your attacks when you do it from camouflage as a hunter. It's I'm at +9 stealth, plus 50% ranged critical chance. That's really what I'm after. Let me get rid of this bomb while I'm standing right next to it, because that looks like a terrible idea. Let that thing go off. See, it might go off just like that. Now, as a hunter, you don't get a lot of area effects. I would say that minstrels get more of those than the hunter. But we're really good at, like, you can really build up some criticals, which is nice. Oh, she's getting, oh, gee whiz. Didn't even notice that. We're playing, you may be seeing some things happening here that you wouldn't see on a normal server. We're playing on a legendary server, which is also known as a progression server. We don't have the entire world open to us at this time. We have, I mentioned this earlier, but it's, we slowly progress our way through the world. And so we're only partway through at this point. But another thing they added on to this server and another progression server, we have extra slow XP. We get 40% of XP instead of 100%, like 100% on normal servers. We only get 40% of that, which is perfect for us. In fact, we still had to buy Stones of the Tortoise, you may have noticed, because we were still getting too much experience. But that's because we were doing every single quest and every single deed and all of that. Another thing that they have on these servers, on these two servers, Treebeard and Shadowfax, is a difficulty addition. So we sometimes have acquired the eye of Sauron, as it were, and sometimes we get hit a little extra hard by things. And there will be, basically, like if I'm standing here, a red box will appear around me, and then a larger red box will appear around that. And I have a short amount of time to get myself out of the larger red box before it triggers an explosion where I am standing, or where I had originally been standing. So that's very exciting. So sometimes you'll see that on here, and that's not something you would normally see on other servers. You told me to destroy 10 bombs, so I destroyed 10 bombs. Oh my goodness. That's a reference to probably like College Humor or something. Um,
Viva la
who is it?
Viva la
Dirt League?
Viva la
Viva la Dirt League. Oh, see, I was standing in one of those boxes and I didn't get out in time. And I am running out of health. I'm going to move. Thank you, Minstrel. The quest said, apparently the guy was given a quest to go rescue 4 children, so he rescued 4 children, and then goes back to turn it into the NPC, and the NPC's like, yeah, but what about the rest of the children? He's like, you told me to rescue 4, so I rescued 4. He's like, there was 10 children there. So, yes. So you told me to destroy 10 bombs, so I destroyed 10 bombs. Leave the rest of them. Yes, Uptown Coyote cannot wait to roll a new alt when Before the Shadow releases. I am actually very much feeling the same way. I am, yes. So for folks who hadn't heard about this, Before the Shadow is a new expansion coming out, or mini expansion, technically. But it's going to cover a huge area. It's filling in more of the map that we have in Eriador. And so I'm going to follow you for just a moment. And we go to map, Eriador. Tell me if we get in trouble. It's going to fill in this area down here. So like by the Brandywine, the South Road to this river, Gwend something, Guar. I'm not sure, it's Elven. So it's going to fill in that area. And it's got 2 areas. What is it? Cardelon and Swift something?
I'm not sure.
I can't remember the name of the other one. But anyway, so that's what's coming out in, oh, we lost our people again. That's what's coming out in Before the Shadow. So part of what they're doing is it's going to create a new area for level. Like you can level from like 1 to 30 in that area instead of the leveling in those other areas like I was talking about earlier. So for people like myself and others who have leveled in the game many, many times through those early areas, it's going to be really exciting to see this new area. And it's going to be, it's Before the Shadow. So it's before, it's like Boromir is on his way to Rivendell to have a chat. And, you know, that then becomes like when the Fellowship is created, all of that. So he's on his way to Rivendell for that. And you have some interactions with Boromir. We don't know the details yet. I mean, of course, we'll find out when it comes out in November, I think it is. So... all right, so the mines of Rithensett are once more secure. The Free Peoples will now be able to continue with their efforts beneath the Wildwood. Okay, awesome. We're going to do the Trestle Bridge ambush. Dum, dum, dum. Let's see, the Free Peoples have reported a fire in the Wildwood. I am bothered, however, for I do not see any smoke rising from the woods. We should investigate this fire immediately and report back. Okay, let's do it. November 9? Okay, cool, cool. Thank you. I was thinking, yeah, for some reason I was also thinking November 9th. Okay, so what have we got going on here? The fire was a ruse. It was merely a campfire set ablaze by those unknown to us. I suspect someone wanted us to stray from town. Ah, look there, the enemy attacks Trestle Bridge. Quickly now, we must defeat the ambush and save the town. Oh, this is the one we want to walk into slowly because, yeah, if you go running in, as I have done before, they phase in after that. So it's, yeah. So nice. Oh, that was excellent. So I hit them with an area attack and then after also did an area attack and that was fantastic. They all fall down. Now I'm technically out of combat for a second, so I was able to go back into my, oops, my camouflage and get that extra 50% critical bonus. Whoa. Also, I've put on an extra little bit of stuff. I've got some light oil that I have put onto my arrows, so it affects them. Let's see, it temporarily deals light damage. Additional critical hits will blind your opponent, causing their attacks to miss more frequently. What's really cool about that is Affadil does light damage, has a light damage effects that go on to the enemies sometimes, and so it makes them more susceptible to light damage. So we kind of work in tandem that way, which is really fun. So we're running around the town of Trestle Bridge right now, and so you may find this familiar territory. I'm so glad that they added this stuff in Trestle Bridge because in the game, you go through Trestle Bridge, right? And you spend some time here, but it definitely feels like you're just passing through. And I'm really glad to kind of get the chance to spend more time in the space and enjoying the area and the landscape and stuff. Well, you're going to knock that right off, sweetie. She was walking on something and kind of started to slide. Whoopsie. Hey, Kato. Hey, baby. All right. Apparently my lap is too active for her, which is fine. Okay. There is no relent. All right. Well, we're going to try and take you guys out. Hey, sweetie. So the weather has definitely turned around here. So I think that's part of it. I think she's looking for more heat. She's been getting on my lap often. Secure the trestle span. All right, well, this is the trestle span. And that's Aggie Digweed. She is a firebrand. We like her. Quickly head to the southern courtyard. It's still under attack. She says, don't worry about me. I can take care of this. Yeah, I can defend it, the trestle bridge. Cool. And yeah, and before I put the... oh, Moobot, actually. Put in the link. Thanks, Moobot. Pre-purchase. Pre-purchase is now available on the Before the Shadow. So there's some goodies that you can get now. There's a mount that's really cool. And there's a pet. And a couple other things that you would get. Oh, I think you get a combo box, like a choose one box for a carryall. And I can't remember if that gets awarded now or if that's later when it comes out. So there's like a handful of things that you get now and then a handful of things that you get when it comes out on the 9th of November. And actually, I should say there are 3 different levels. You don't get the mount with all of it. The first level is just like you get the expansion, but it's like only $20, so that ain't nothing. Well, okay, nowadays that might be something, but in general, 20. Like if you put aside $1 every week in 20 weeks, you'd be able to buy it. So, although if you are unable to, afford with real world money. In-game money is also possible. It'll be out, basically they do it like 6 months after the fact. You can't get the big fancy version with in-game money, but you can get like the basics. You can unlock all the stuff, be able to unlock all the fun things you want to do in there. Elric, computer blue screen, and you just got back in. Oh, that's funny. Well, the nice thing is this video recording will be here on this Twitch channel. And then also, I put it on my YouTube channel, my Beyond the Shire YouTube channel. And then also, yeah, it'll be here and on YouTube. That's it. That's what I'm trying to say. I also do have a Twitter. That's what I was thinking, where my brain was going. Where like I announce when I'm going on live. So if you ever wanted to be like, hey, I wanted to ask that person a question, you can, follow that. So, thanks before. Yay. Yeah, so there's my Twitter and the YouTube channel. So yeah, so you can always go back and review what we talked about as well. And if you are like, watching on the YouTube, which is handy, you can make comments and whatnot. So if you are still asked, yeah, you can always make comments there and stuff, and I can respond there too. Or on Twitter. We're a really helpful bunch, to be quite honest. I mean, the LOTRO community is really quite awesome about helping people out. I had asked you what server you were playing on, or going to be playing on. I don't know if you caught that question. Let's see. Yes, welcome back. What do you think, Draken PWN asks, what do you think is a good starter class similar to a mage and other games like WoW? Okay, cool. So B4 is responding to that. There's 3 magic-y feeling types in LOTRO. Oh, goodness. Hang on. We've got this big clump of people here. There's the Minstrel, the Lore Master, and the Runekeeper. Yeah. And I did not get deep into WoW. B4 definitely did, but I did not. I tried it a little bit and it didn't really, I don't know, just didn't really grab me. so I didn't get very far with it. But that's the other thing too, is you can always, ask in chat in the LOTRO streams. Oh, hang on. Or you can ask like in your world chat, or if you end up in a kinship, you can always ask in the kinship. You didn't hear, yeah. So Elric, which server are you looking to play on in LOTRO? Have you chosen a server? Was the question that I had for you. All right, so the Trestle Bridge ambush, we took care of it. The Trestle Bridge is once again safe, yay. All those in Trestle Bridge are thankful we returned to town when we did. The fire was certainly a distraction to lead us away. Dun, dun, dun. So this is not a uncoordinated group that is assaulting these people. So the next one is Assault on Trestle Bridge. Oh, she has an urgent request. A large band of foes of the Free People has been spotted headed towards the town. The numbers are numerous, and they have been seen slowly surrounding the town on all sides. If Trestle Bridge is to stand, we must do all that we can to protect the town from this attack. Well, let's get in there and help out. All right, so let's, where's the thing? Oh, it's right in front of me. Yes, I did put my server name at the top because people often ask, hey, what server are you playing on in the chat? So, it's just easier to go ahead and just put it there. Also, because Treebeard is not one of the normal servers, you do have to be a subscriber to play on Treebeard and Shadowfax. They're subscriber VIP servers. But because they have their own special thing going on, oh, no, that's too cold. Bring that heat back. Yeah, so that's why I put that up there too, so that way people can kind of know what's going on. How does Lore Master compare to Runekeeper? Oh, wow. That's a big question. Let's see. When Egg Arthur says probably Minstrel is the closest to a WoW mage. Lore Masters have pets. Runekeepers have this whole attunement mechanic. Right. That's, yeah. So I have picked up a Runekeeper. I have a Runekeeper. It takes some getting used to, and I have not gotten used to it. I'll be quite honest there. Yeah, because you basically have two different styles you can do. You don't have to switch lines or anything, like it just is for you as a Runekeeper. You can like be all attacky-tacky, or you can be kind of like healy-healy, and you kind of power up that skill or that side of the skills with different things with the attunement. Yeah, it's really fascinating, and very, very magic-y feeling for sure. Let's see. Before it says Lore Master has pets, so you could have like a bear or a cat. You can only have one pet at a time, but you do have an assortment of pets to choose from, and they are different in their style of play. So like if you have a bear out as your pet, that is gonna give you more, it's gonna be more of like your tank, and then you can stand back and attack things for you. If you take the Bog Lurker, that one is like heavy on the DPS, and it does some range stuff as well. I like the Bog Lurker myself when I'm usually playing Lore Master, or the bear. I go back and forth between them. So anyway, so yeah, so they each have, each of the animals has a different kind of just way that they interact with the enemies for you on your behalf, as you would expect. We have a torchbearer here, but he didn't go for a torch in a building. Let's see. Okay, so Lore Master has pets, and much like a WoW hunter, and uses magic-y spell-like things to blast their enemies. That's true. You're like throwing down lightning and stuff. Rune keepers throw down a temporary rune that like, it's like a stalagmite or stalactite coming out of the ground.
Okay.
So which one is it? Stalactite. Okay. What? Stalagmite? It's the one that comes out of the ground. So it's like this thing, this rune just goes, and it's like, has an area effect. It like will lightning things, or it can heal. You can put on a healing rune to heal your party. Yeah, Rune Keepers are really interesting, and I don't have a good handle on it, but I find them really fascinating. Let's see. Yes, they use spell-like things to blast their enemies. Runekeepers use temporary runestones to devastating effect, and also have spell-like effects. Yep. Agarthur says, of course, WoW mages had pets too. They remember having a frost ice elemental, though they have not played for about 8 years. Oh, okay, yeah, and if those were timed, that is kind of closer to, yeah, the LOTRO rune stones. Ah, cool, we finished. Oh, let's get our reward. Sweet, already in use. Okay, cool. Yes, minstrels just channel their rage. Just dream enemies. Scream, ah! It's like musical, but more yelling. Oops, wrong thing. Yeah, so I don't know, Uptown Coyote, if that answers your question. Lore masters have pets, runekeepers have runes. Pets stick around unless they get defeated, but then you can just summon a new one. You can always desummon and summon a new pet. Runestones take a little while to recharge. There's a cooldown on when you can get a new one out again. So you do have that going on also. Mercy 1977 asks, what class would you say for new players? We had this conversation earlier. Hang on, I'll be right back to you there. So she says, with the raiding party defeated, Trestle Bridge is once again safe. The free peoples will certainly thank us for our efforts. Oh, actually, we'll give you the same question we gave to Elric here. Do you prefer ranged or melee? That's really the first question. Attack on Cotfast. Okay, so now we're going back out into Wildwood. And she says, the free peoples in the Wildwood have reported nothing but troubles from the village of Cotfast that lies within. There are reports of provisions being stolen and forest creatures being captured. So if the Wildwood is ever to be peaceful, the problems in the village of Cotfast will need to be resolved. So we're going to go resolve these problems. And a Bjorning. Oh, Uptime Coyote. Says, thanks, very helpful. So I think I'm going to roll either a Lore Master or a Bjorning. Bjornings are really interesting. I did actually kind of get a handle on that a little bit. Some people are really good with Bjornings, though. Shows me how much I have learned. So she says, first of all, let's tread carefully. There are many foes lurking about. I hope that we can recover most of the stolen goods as well as free all the forest creatures the denizens of the village have caged. Okay. So we need to retrieve 10 boxes of stolen goods and free 10 animals. You know what? I might... I was debating whether to desummon my pet here. Yeah.
They're good at healing us.
Oh, forget about that. She does do a healing. I forgot she does. Yeah, okay. We'll keep her around. You're slow, so ranged. I really enjoy being ranged myself. So then, yes, we're kind of back to where we were before, where I would say either minstrel or hunter are a really good place to start. Hunters are pretty easy to play. You just stand there and shoot at things. Minstrels are a lot of fun to play also because you get to run around and yell at things, but you also get to heal people. So Affodil is playing a minstrel. I am playing a hunter. Hunters have travel skills. If you want to hear a longer discussion on this, go back about an hour. We went into this a little bit more in depth than what I'm doing now. I'm kind of giving you a summary. I'm going to let these animals out of the cages. Yes, the pew pew. I do enjoy the pew pew of the hunter. Let's see, so where were we at? Elric says, the way a cave guide helped me remember the difference was stalactites cling to the ceiling tightly, so stalagmites are on the ground. Oh, there's a DNT, grappling bite. Oh, well. Oh, good, yeah. I get those mnemonics and then, yeah, I forget. C for ceiling, G for ground. I guess that works too. Or I'll just ask you all to help me out again with that next time. Okay, so wait a minute. So stalagmite. Wait, stalagmites are on the ground. Okay, so Runekeeper has stalagmites. That's really what I need to know. Right? Hopefully I can remember that. Hey, woodland robber. We don't need... No, don't be doing that. Thanks, Red Hill. Oh, good night, Uptime Coyote. Thanks for coming by. We'll be here. We're here every week. So, yeah, we'll be here again next Tuesday. So, come back. We will see you then. All right, so we're talking about stalagmites and stalactites. Oh, and Bjornings. Oh my gosh, Bjornings are so fascinating because they have 3 lines, as everybody does, but they seem like basically one is a tank line where they get the attention but they don't do all the damage. One is the DPS line where they, they get hit, they're a little bit more squishy, but they do more damage. And then you've got their healing line, which is the yellow line, and they're really effective healers too. Although I think our Bjorning, we have a group, and one of the characters plays a Bjorning, and she, I think, is usually in red or blue and does a really great, there's like this kind of area effect healing thing that she can just drop down every so often, which is really cool. So yeah, I find running with a Bjorning fantastic. Like having a Bjorning in the party is really nice.
Very flexible.
Very flexible, yeah.
Fellowship of only Bjornings.
We did do that. We had a fellowship of only Bjornings at one point. We were running through Moria, and it was the 2 of us as Bjornings and another friend of ours. And all 3 of us were Bjornings as we were running through. So we kind of did it. We kind of broke it out. Like one person took blue, one took red, one took yellow. And that was a really fascinating way to do it. So, yes, Bjornings, as Egg Arthur points out, are shapeshifters, kind of like druids in WoW, but with less forms. You just have the one. You are a human or you're a bear. That's your choice. That's a good point, though. In bear form, you can do things differently than you can in human form. Okay, where are we at here? Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, Elric, Bjorning is really cool too. Yeah, it is a fascinating one to choose, but it is melee. It is very heavy on the melee. I mean, you get a bow and arrow, but I mean, you barely use that. Really, you're a melee character. So just keep that in mind too, if you decide to go with Bjorning. All right, the village of Copfast still stands. Perhaps they now understand that their evil ways bear consequences in the Wildwood. I cannot say one way or the other. Okay, so Menace of Sutwarden. All right, so people in Wildwood have been unable to regain control of the watchtower ruins of Sutwarden. Those who control the tower have a vantage point to view all of the Wildwood and the Bree Fields. If the Wildwood and the Bree Fields are to ever again be safe, the Tower of Sutwarden must be reclaimed. All right, well, let's go see what we can do. Okay. I don't know if I would suggest Bjorning as your first character, though, in LOTRO. I mean, it's a little advanced level. Maybe not, though. Maybe it's...
How can I be of service?
I don't know. Okay, wait. So we're approaching the steps. We have to move swiftly through the tower ruins, destroy the banners, and defeat every foe we encounter. No limit. Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's a fun thing you do. I think it's called Rend or something as a Bjorning, where you just you can't move during it, but you just stand there. You just go and you can turn in a circle, and you just do like a fair amount of damage on everything that you can get your paws on, as it were. Relentless Maul. Thank you. It's been a little while since I played a Bjorning. Yeah, that one's pretty cool. And we were doing what's the level of, oh no wait, the Red Maid. We're doing a festival instance called the Red Maid. That's the short version of it. Yeah, Red Maid of Narohel, thank you. And in that you need to have somebody who gets the attention of her, but then also gets the attention of the other things that come in. And so our Bjorning friend, she hadn't played a Bjorning much up to that point, I think, and so she was able to really spend that time getting very familiar with how to get the attention of things and keep that attention. And that was really cool to watch, like that progression, that evolution of knowledge. That was pretty cool. Oh, hey, there's a banner. I'll just grab this one. Got it. Yeah, Bjornings are cool too. So I don't, yeah, right? It's like, there's so many cool options. Really, so I mentioned that, you know, these servers are a little different, this one and Shadowfax. And there's a title that you can get at level 50 if you take a character on this server to level 50. And so you like, if you're a hunter, you get one title. If you're a Bjorning, you get a different title, and so on. So there's like, how many different classes are there? 15 or something? No, that's not 15. That's not right. 10, like 10-ish. So 11, I think. So I have one of every type of character on this server. So I have dabbled in all of them, but I wouldn't say, yeah, play all the things. But I wouldn't say I'm good at many of them. A raiding party of half-orcs attacked the ruins. Oh no, it's a surprise attack that they warned us about. It's not a very surprising attack. We knew it was coming. We had suspicions, that's right. Fend off. Do we have more? We should have more. Oh, there they are. That's right. Nice. Did you just fly up in the air?
Yeah.
What is going on? Is there a knockback? That was hilarious. You're like flying off my screen. Oh, anyway, I was going to say at some point, what happens in LOTRO a lot is you end up creating many, many alts. So I would say, Elric, if you end up like many of us, it is highly likely that you will start with whatever, but you will then also make a blank and also make a blank and also make, you will dabble, most likely. Many of us do. And it's a good time. So Amavorn says, I'm way too biased to ranged classes. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's my thing, is I struggle with playing melee in LOTRO because I just really love the ranged classes. And I really do also like playing a lore master because I like collecting all the pets, and you can have the pets look different ways. And so anyway, I apparently I'm a collector. What can I say? Oh, so anyway, back to Sut Warden is under the control of the free people. Both the Breefields and the Wildwood are much safer. Yay! And our last one, Trouble on the Brandywine. So the League of the Axe has reached out to me. They're the group in the southern part of this area, asking for assistance in guarding Trader's Wharf while the League departs on an important mission. The League of the Axe is respectful of the lands, so I would like to assist them. However, I will need your assistance. All right, well, we can assist you assisting them. No problemo. And this one, oops, okay, cool, is kind of a timed sort of thing. Oh, first, let me grab my summoning horn. Yeah, so it really is like, wow. There are some similarities, I hear. This one's a little less cartoonish. All right, she says, do you hear that? The footsteps of men approach. Our time of rest is at its end. Let us prepare ourselves for combat. The footsteps grow louder. I can hear them from all sides, converging on the docks. All right, so let's pick a position. Where do you want to be? Enemies are approaching. There's one. Oh, there's one beside me over here. So this is a funny thing that hunters do, is like, I'll just like start shooting and it targets the next thing or whatever. So there's definitely times when I get us into combat unintentionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's normal. Yeah.
And then we'll be after 10 o'clock.
I'd go. So we have an 8-minute timer going over here in the upper corner. And we're down to like 7.5 minutes, so that's cool. So once the timer runs out, whatever enemies we still have left, we finish them off, and that ends. Or if they finish us off. I mean, I suppose anything's possible. Oh, your rad hill is down there. Mine is up here with me. That's funny. Sometimes we'll try to kind of collect the baddies, you know, like kind of stay in one area and let them come to us. Oh, you really thought this one was 15 minutes. It's possible they changed it, or they changed it in duo. Maybe it's smaller in duo. Maybe it's 15 in solo. I could see that. It does seem to take a while sometimes, doesn't it? So yes, alts everywhere. Egg Arthur says, not like WoW. I only got up to 29 characters there. You have over 35 here. Very nice. And I don't know what the server situation is like in WoW. There's what is it, like 10 regular servers and 2 legendaries right now, I think. Or is it 8 and 2? I used to be able to list them off the top of my head. There's a LOTRO wiki, which is a fan managed wiki, but it is super, super helpful, and it's usually pretty accurate.
12 servers are listed, so 10 normal.
Okay, so 10 normal servers, and then 2 of these legendary servers. So here, I'll just pop that into chat if you're curious. And of the servers, there's basically 2 kinds. There's US and EU. Because back when LOTRO first came out, there were servers in Europe. They were managed and coded and everything by Codemasters, and Turbine had the US ones. Eventually, it was all consolidated, and they are actually physically all located in the same place. But the coding is slightly different between them, so you can't switch characters from an EU server to a US server or US to EU. Yeah, it's just part of some of the history of all that. I don't know if that's something they'll be able to fix in the future. I would say they have other things that are higher priority for sure. Hey, what are you doing over there? Burn it all. Come here. Let me shoot you. There we go. Come here, Bernie butt. Let me shoot you. I just want to say hi with my arrows. There you go. You can say hi with your torch. I like it. I have a torch too. Oh, I'm in combat. I can't show you my torch. Okay, so let's see. Where are we at here? You give the wiki 99% accuracy? Yeah, I would say it's pretty, yeah, that's pretty.
Especially for low-level stuff.
It's really good. The biggest problem you run into is when there's something that's old, like, you know, when the game first came out or something, and it's had a change, but nobody's playing that area who is also a wiki updater. And so that, you know, old information persists even though something has changed. Usually what happens is wiki editors will go kind of through like the patch notes and update things from there, but sometimes some gets missed, you know, we're humans. Yes, very, very detailed. So yeah, so there's the different list of the different worlds. So I have characters on, I can't remember right now, 5 different servers. There was another server, another legendary server called Anor. It recently closed. They got to cap, and the population had kind of dwindled. So it they went ahead and closed the server. So people who have characters on there, actually I should probably make a note, put that out there. There we go. If you have a character on Anor, you will want to go and get those transferred off before the end of the year, by the way, or your characters and all your stuff will disappear. So keep that in mind if you were playing on Anor. Are you going to yell at the guys down there? There's a couple of them down by the building. Cool, thanks. Let's see. So, Elric is having trouble installing. It will not update in the launcher. It keeps failing. Oh, no bueno. It says an update error occurred. The request cannot be sent, and then the bar on top says retry in 54 seconds. Yeah, that's usually like when the servers are down or something. You might get something like that, but they are definitely not down. There you go. Cool. You're getting some advice in the chat. Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, there's people who are definitely a little bit more technically minded. I will say that, every once in a while there's a error that some people get or something people know workarounds and how to do things. So yeah. Another place to check if you're still having trouble is check the forums, because people will post things on the forums like if they're having some sort of a problem and on a workaround that they've used to make it work. Oh, cool. Thanks, Egg Arthur. Posted a link to an article on what sounds like some information. Cool. Thank you. And let's see. B4 recommends maybe a reboot between installation and patching. See if that fixes it. That kind of message could also be a temporary failure. And yeah, some sort of a failure to contact the server. It really isn't it? All Standing Stone game links are whitelisted. Oh, nice. Thanks, Overborn.
That was a response I got there,
Yeah, that's cool. I forget that that's the thing. So yeah, generally in the chat, you can't just go posting links. There is a restriction on that unless you have like permission because you're a streamer in here. So I can post links, for example. But yeah, I forget that anything that's a LOTRO.com link is going to be available to be posted here too. So sweet. So yes, and SSG has mentioned that they want to rebuild the launcher because they know that it has like occasional janky bits. And they know that people do workarounds, and they're like, we really wish people didn't have to do workarounds. We wish that we could just like put all the stuff in there to make it work. So they want to rebuild the launcher. It's got some old tech in there, I guess. And, it's just like anything when you've got it's like building a house or, our time 2-1-0. We defended Trader's Wharf. Woohoo! All right. You got to put priorities, right? Like if the roof is falling down, well, you kind of have to put a pause on, on painting the walls. Exactly. So I know they want to redo the launcher, and I think that's working its way up in priority. So that's good. Yeah, Elric, not technically minded, don't know how to do firewall stuff. Awesome, but you are following the link, and yeah, cool. So I would say definitely if you are having trouble, you can always post in the forums, the LOTRO forums, LOTRO.com, as he posted there. And you can get some advice in there. And if you ask people to be very specific, they can, post like images or walk you through the details and that sort of thing. So yes, you should be able to get some help on that. Okay, so she says, Trader's Wharf is still standing from the brigand assault. The League of the Axe will certainly be thankful of our efforts. Yay! Okay, so that is all of the missions that Radhill has for us. You got the new horse! Yay! Congratulations. Splotchy, yes. I hear it is coming up on like 10 o'clock. It is like 10 o'clock. It says go to the exceptions tab, but there aren't any tabs. Oy. Yeah, it's one of those where I wish like somebody who knows how to do this could just like reach into your computer, push the buttons in the right places, and make it work for you. Did you already try the uninstall and reinstall thing? Oh, I wonder, was it installing when your computer went blue screen? Because that could have mucked up something. Get those ones and zeros in the wrong places. Anyway, I would say take a look at that list of servers when you're done also to decide where you want to go. For example, Landreval has a very strong music community. You can play music in the game. And so there are people who spend pretty much all of their time doing that on Landreval. People do questing and stuff as well, but it's very heavy on the music scene, for example. Treebeard here, we're a legendary server, so we have very different feeling and flavor going on here. Laurelyn is very focused on role playing. So like you're running around, interacting with people as if you are a actual Hobbit or as if you are actual Bjorning and whatnot. I mean, it's not 100%. There's people that are on there that don't role play at all, but for the majority, that's what people tend to do on Laurelyn. Evernight is one of the bigger EU-focused servers, so it has a great mix of people from many different places. Unfortunately, it is suffering from lag because of the high population, but that's something that SSG is absolutely working on right now. Oh, there you go. Oh, before, that's nice of you. He says, if you're still running into problems after a reboot, shoot an error message over to him at LOTRO Deed Tracker, and he'll see if he has any other ideas. Yeah, it is 10 o'clock at night here, and we have Dutch class tomorrow, where we are learning how to speak Dutch still. And the class we are in is reasonably high level at this point, so there's a lot going on. So yes, we have needs of sleep before other thinking, most likely. And you can also, I have to say, there's also some Discord servers out there, so that's another option if you're into Discord. There's like the LOTRO community server, and you could post on there the problem that you're having, so that's another place you might be able to get some help. It just says request couldn't be sent. Yeah, it definitely is like struggling to talk to the servers. I wonder why. Oh, thanks, Moobot. Moobot has said you can check out who is on the schedule and when on the calendar here, and there's a Google link there. And then there's also a link to a list of everybody's social media who is a streamer here on this channel. Yeah. So I wish, like I said, Elric, I really wish I could just like reach over there and like grab it and fix it for you. So I was going to tell you which servers I'm playing on, but I play on a bunch of them. Well, I have characters on a bunch of them, I have to say. I don't actually, though I'm pretty active on Treebeard, but I'm not very active on anywhere else. I probably will go and get active on Crick Hollow at some point, because that's where we took all of our characters that were on Anor and sent them over there. But I haven't had the chance to really spend time over there because with the classes we're taking, it's pretty busy. So for those of you who are new, we were just doing missions. It's kind of like a little side thing you can do. It's not part of the main storyline per se, but it definitely gives you some fun things that are like part of the world and part of what is going on in the world around you. So, oh nice, you got the Wild Trader's Steed and the Tome of the Tame Wildwood Huron. Oh yeah, did I get that yet? Is that all from the Quartermaster over here?
No, it's Wildwood Reward mission.
Oh, what? What? Oh, from her? Talk to this person. Oh, her barter items. Okay. Oh, I don't have the steed yet. Well, I better get that. Hello. Now I have the steed. Oh, yeah. Man, that used a bunch of tokens. Glad I had a bunch. I already have the Wildwood Huron. I think I got that like one of the first things because, like, yes. Love that. Oh, for you new folks, I was going to mention that when you are playing the game, once you finally get in, there's so much. Like, basically, there's 15 years worth of, tools and tips and, things in here that you can use to do different things, to change your settings, to figure out how to find things, to, like, I mean, there's just so much. Like, for example, in the options menu, you have all these different tabs here that give you various different things that you can do to change the way things look in your game, or to change some settings, or, turn the profanity filter on and off, to like all sorts of things in there. Or then, like, if you go to the map, you can look at maps that show you various areas. You can say on the map that I'm looking at, I want to see these things, I don't want to see these things. There's like the Stable Masters map, which is all the Stable Masters you've been to. You can also see what emotes you know, what steeds you have, what pets you have. or pets you don't have, how do you earn them? So there's like so much information in this game. There's no way that anybody could know it all. So there's never any point where you need to feel like, oh, I should know this. No, it's fine. Just if you are looking for something and you can't figure it out, or if you're like, man, I wish they did this in the game. Well, they probably do. So just, pop up and ask that. And somebody should probably be able to like give you the answer or direct you on how to get there. So just keep that in mind, that you've got a whole community of people around you on these streams, in the games, on the forums, everywhere that can help you out with various things and with getting around in the game and learning how to do things in the game. Like all of those things we all know these things. Cool. Ulrich's going to send you a screenshot and stuff like that. So, and Egg Arthur is also offering some stuff on Windows 10 under security and maintenance, network firewall, allow an app through the firewall if you're on Windows 10. You definitely have to allow it through the firewall, and that's something I always have just had before help me out with. So, and you're like, but we have a nice sleeping kitty here for you. She's sometimes she snores, and it's really cute. If she was snoring, I could just put the microphone over by her, but she's not doing it right now. So we'll have to, get her snoring on stream another time. All right, well, it is after 10 o'clock at night for me here, so I am going to head out. But y'all can keep talking in the chat. It doesn't go away. You can stay there in the chat and keep working on resolving that issue. So don't feel like you gotta leave just because I'm leaving. If you have any last minute questions, definitely put it in the stream. And I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping up. So on Tuesdays, I forgot. Hey, can you check the Discord and see if on Tuesdays, did I not spell Tuesdays right? Or is what did I do? Tuesday? Oh, okay, there's only one Tuesday. Okay, so the streamers on Tuesdays are myself, I'm Little Redhead, B4, who was on before me. Usually I go first and he goes second, but today we flip-flopped it around just to shake things up. Also, I was super tired. I7 is on a break, but Shoreless Skies is on does a piece called Beneath Your Feet, and he does everything in first person. So for example, if he's running around here, you will be seeing everything from a first person perspective on his stream. Really cool, gives you a chance to get a good look at the world of LOTRO from that first person perspective. And actually I think he removes all the other stuff too, so you just see just the scenery and the NPCs and stuff. I was watching his stream from last month and it's really cool. So so he's on later on tonight, and he will be heading to Tar Druidon. Wow, I'm not even sure where that is. Oh, here she goes. She started snoring. Oh, now she stops. And then she stops as soon as I put it over there. Of course she does. She knows. All right, so anyway, so Shoreless Skies will be on, I can't remember what time he's on, like 8 o'clock Eastern time or something like that. But it's a really cool show, so definitely check that out if you get a chance. So, all right, and I sent you an email. All right, well, thank you, everybody, for coming along. I hope you're staying warm. Those of you who are under the weather, I hope you get better soon. And enjoy your time on LOTRO. And you have any questions, you can always pop in here, like we said. So, all right, I will see you next week. And in the meantime, remember to stay connected to that Hobbit side of your heart. All right, thanks, everybody. See you next time. Bye-bye.